It's sort of crazy to say, but we've gotten to a point in time in history, I would say of this country, but honestly in the world, where the riskiest thing to do is to play it safe. And it sounds like an oxymoron, and it sort of is, but hear me out for a second. Like, when my parents were younger and they grew up, it was much more simple. And I know a lot of people talk about stuff like this. Go to school, get a job, not even have to go to school, just get a job, work, get married, have kids, do the whole thing. You could buy everything cheap. And honestly, that's a video for a different day talking about that. I'm not trying to talk about inflation or anything of that sort. But the point is, you could get a government job and you would have benefits, a pension, everything paid for in that sense, and you could rely on retiring at a certain time. You could rely on your 401k, your Roth IRA being there. You really can't anymore. One, our government is broke. They've been spending too much money. Like, they're even saying, like, Social Security isn't going to be there anymore. Like, in about a decade, if our government doesn't get into shape. Medicare is the same way. Medicaid's probably close after it. Even, like, I'm in New York, and I'm in a nice part of New York, and like, even jobs that were considered good and safe aren't really good anymore. And going back to what part of New York I'm in, a lot of people became police officers, like, and it's partially because of back in the 70s and early 80s, they made it very enticing to. And they did that with a lot of government jobs, not just being a police officer, but police officer as an example, because I know it. You could make okay money starting off, and like, yeah, we're not in the city, and it's not much crime and nothing crazy usually goes on. But I mean, so you're still a cop, but like, it's not as bad. But two, after a couple years, you started getting paid really well. You got paid better than most people did. You didn't do as much per se. Not to say that cops don't do anything, but it's either you do nothing or you go crazy. Like, in the sense that you just do a lot. Side note, it's a lifestyle. But my point is, pensions and benefits were great back then, and they had to do that to entice people to do the job, and that no longer exists. And I honestly suspect that that's the way for a lot of not just government jobs but businesses in general. Like, even just lack of healthcare benefits, people aren't getting paid more. And even with the 401k and Roth IRA, and I guess I am going to talk about money today, but even with those, with the way the stock market's looking, like, and how the financial house of cards is looking, not to be fear-mongering, but it's not guaranteed. Even the most stable of times is not guaranteed. So my question would be, why does it make sense to go the quote-unquote safe route when it's not really that safe? I believe it's better to do the riskier thing, or to do a hybrid. Like, that's why everyone's talking, or have been talking about for probably 5-6 years now at least, maybe even a decade, but talking about side hustles, making money on the side. And me personally, yeah, start the side hustle, but turn it into a full-time business and leave your other job unless you need the benefits to healthcare, because healthcare is not cheap to pay by yourself, so it definitely helps to have that. But have other ways of taking on an income, definitely more riskier ways that go against the grain, because I have a feeling, I'm not going to lie, that when all is said and done, and the dust settles, the people that were playing it safe are going to be the ones that got hit the hardest, because they relied on a system to be there. They relied on this whole system to work. I'm not condoning or not rooting for the end of the world or post-apocalypse to happen. I fantasy, yes, it's like the Roman Empire for a lot of guys, but don't want that to happen. But I don't want to bet that it's not. And honestly, if it happens, great. I mean, a lot more people would be screwed over, but it wouldn't be in the way that I'm talking about right now, because the way I see it is people are going to be left so poor that they can't do anything, and it's going to cause such a disparity between the wealthiest of the wealthy and the poorest of the poor. Like, there's going to be no more middle class, and we could go into, but we're not, but at some point go into speculation on that, and I'm honestly not here to speculate about it. My point is, take a risk, take a chance, especially if you're young, you don't have kids. Do something that, one, is going to make you happier. Don't slog away at some BS job that you hate, because it's a waste of time in general. But two, if you have an idea that you think could make you money, go for it. Don't just let it be a dream. In the words of Shia LaBeouf, don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. I might be aging myself, but it is what it is. On a real note, though, he did say, yesterday you said tomorrow. And that line in the beginning didn't really click. I mean, I used to just do a little too much of that, so like, didn't really click. But once it finally clicked, I was like, oh man, yeah, no, get it done. But do the risky thing, man. The worst that could happen is you fail. You know what I mean? Don't put yourself in a crap position, but do it. That's the only way to get ahead. Otherwise, if you're doing the safe thing, and I guess this is my full point, if you want to get ahead, you need to do the risky thing. And that's the smart thing to do. It's technically the safe thing, because if you're doing the safe thing, the historically safe thing, you're at best going to stagnate. And that's at best. Like, I don't see things getting better that way anytime soon. Until World War III happens, because that's going to spark the economy and do a bunch of things. Or it's just going to end us. Either way. Doesn't matter. But at best, you're going to stagnate. Worst, you're going to decline. And I think the worst case scenario is more likely, or more towards that end of the scale, because of the way things are going. But yeah, just something to keep in mind, man. If you don't know me, my name is Brendan. This is The Lost Tribe. If you like this content, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you have anything to say about this, if you have something else that you want me to cover, talk about, anything. And if you made it this far, 10 minutes in, assuming I don't cut out any empty points, which there really wasn't any this video, hit that subscribe button, because clearly you like the content. Once again, Brendan, Lost Tribe. Peace out, homie.